Hey everybody, I hope you're gearing up for the final round of the North Carolina 9-hole Cup. I am traveling all day today, so I will not be able to put out guides with the wind directions for the final round. However, I didn't want you guys to be left with no options, so there's a few different things that you can do. First, in the rest of this video, I've recorded guides using practice holes primarily for crosswinds and tailwinds. So you'll be able to follow the guides here, and if you have even a similar wind, you can start to model your approach after that. So there's 9 holes, hole 1 through 9, mainly crosswinds and headwinds, because sometimes that's what shows up in the final round. So I wanted to focus on those. So that's your first option. Watch these. Try to model your play if the wind is close after these guides, or tweak it if you need to. The second option, go back and look at the qualifying round guides. If the winds are remotely close to those, you can model your approach and tweak from there. And third, these are the exact same holes that were used in the President's Cup. So I've linked my videos from the President's Cup tournament in the description. So you can check each hole to see if the wind is close to the wind that you're getting in the final round today. So again, 3 options for you to try to come up with something to play in the final round. First is in this video. You'll have holes 1 through 9 with mainly crosswinds and headwinds. You can use the qualifying rounds that I posted for this tournament, or you can look in the description and the links to the President's Cup holes are there as well. Obviously, there's going to be other streamers who may post some content that are premium balls, and you can try to modify your approach from there. But I just wanted to give you guys some options. So good luck. Take a look at these guides, and I hope they help you put up a good score in the final round of the North Carolina 9-hole Cup. Hole number 1, we're going to find this spot. Again, this is not the final round win. So this is a guide that you'll have to tweak based on the wind that you get. But in a headwind, you'll need less topspin, less backspin than we used in the qualifying round, because we need the ball to carry more. So any kind of a headwind or a head cross like this, you're going to have the 3 left spin and then less backspin. You're going to adjust 1 for 1 with the wind. And then you're going to have to add curl because of only having 3 left spin. You could use a Kingslayer to have more left spin, and then you'll have less curl. And that should get you pretty close every time. So that's hole number 1, simple 1 for 1 adjustment. All right, hole number 2. We're going to go with, we're trying to get around that corner. So we're going to use roughly 7 topspin, 3 left spin. And again, if you've got a crosswind coming the other direction, you may not have to use as much side spin. But anyway, we're trying to get around that corner. So from +6, we're going to go 7 topspin, 3 left spin, max plus 10%. And then keep an eye on the curl here. Specifically, if the wind is pushing against you, we want to counteract that with a little bit of left curl. And this shot is really just designed to transport us down the fairway to the opening so that we can take a shot at the pin. Our second shot, our spins are going to vary depending on our landing position, and our elevation here is minus 10%. So you'll notice in this, I try to go red ring here, right against the rough in the fairway line, and the shot is going to come up a little bit short. So you have 2 options. You can either take off that 1 click of backspin and run the ball guide line further through, or you could try the yellow ring by the rough. Either way, this shot is minus 10%, and my estimated distance here was 88%. We try to hit perfect, and you'll see what I mean here. it's going to roll out, so there's no danger, but it's just not going to get the carry that we need. So make one of those 2 adjustments and you should be good to go. Hole number 3. You're going to start at plus 16, or you can start with a kingmaker and then switch to a luminary. A luminary is always going to be helpful on this long par 5, especially in a headwind. There's almost no way around it unless you want to have a very long 3rd shot. So we're going to go max topspin, 1 left spin starting at plus 16 or max distance for a kingmaker. And then we're going to adjust max plus 10, go full overpower, and then check the curl there. There's some really long par 5s on this course, and you can play them with a kingmaker. It's just going to be very difficult to get a decent short iron on the 3rd shot. So 2nd shot, we're still using, Cataclysm very far away, so we're going to use as much topspin as we can get. And then we're going to adjust max plus 10%. And go full overpower. And just, again, check the curl here because we want to make sure that we can stay in that fairway to try to give ourselves a shot, a shorter shot at the pin. So these long par 5s are just so tough with the headwind because you just don't feel like you're making any progress. We're still really far away. So we're going to try to use our long iron here, find minimum distance. The beauty of being at minimum distance is it gives you a guaranteed adjustment. You don't have to guess the distance. So get to minimum distance. Usually you can go with no spin and the ball guide is still going to be through the hole. And you're going to adjust minimum plus 10%. So that's the beauty of being able to find that fixed position. You don't have to guess whether I'm 20%, 30%. I know I'm at min. And that allows us to get a really tough eagle on a hard par 5. All right, hole number 4. So again, we're going to try to just make our way around the dog leg here as best we can. So we're going to use 3 right spin and then as much top spin as we can get. But we want to make sure we start with the 3 right spin instead of max top spin, or else we won't have as much side spin. So start with your side spin first and then go to max top spin. We're already at max distance, but we're still adjusting max plus 10%. And you'll see I pull into overpower here. So we just use the overpower that's needed. If you end up in a straight crosswind where you don't have to pull into overpower, then you don't use overpower. So you only use overpower as needed. And again, if I hit perfect, it's not that close to the bunker, so it's not as scary as it looks. For the approach shot, we're going to be using minus 10% elevation. And watch my setup here is I have the ball guide not quite to the hole, right? It looks like about a square short. And if I could do this again, I would have the ball guide going through the hole. It's going to come up a little short. My estimated distance here was 82%. I thought I was going to get a little bit more of a push from the wind because it's a slight tailwind and it just doesn't come out as hot as I'd like from the rough. So I just want to make sure that ball guide goes through the hole. Hole number 5. This is very similar to qualifying round in terms of setup. And I actually recorded this practice shot before qualifying. So I already know you need less topspin. So we're lining up here at +6 with 1 topspin and 3 left spin. But again, I would recommend 0.7 or 0.8 topspin. And we're going max plus 10 P2 numbers here. So max plus 10 P2. And we're going to add just a touch of left curl. And we had a really good line there, but we just came in a little bit hot. So just try a little less topspin, and that should get you close. Hole number 6, I did a no move target with a kingmaker and then switched to a luminary. Especially in, this is like a crosswind here, but with the dog leg, it's going to turn into a straight headwind for the approach shot. So just about any chance to get to the green is going to require a luminary. We're going to go max plus 10%. And then max overpower and check the curl there. And you'll see, even with the luminary, we're still going to be approaching max distance. So our own, in a straight headwind like this, we're just trying to get across to leave ourselves like an end bringer. There's not really a good chance of albatross in this kind of a headwind with free-to-play balls. You could try a risky jump over the bunker, but it's just not going to be very consistent. So the spins will vary here. We're just literally trying to dump this on the other side. So max plus 5%, and then if you pull into overpower, you'll use it. And then we'll just use some curl here. You could use more curl if you want in order to try to get closer to the cup or maybe be putting. But with more curl, you have more risk of not making it out and clipping the bunker. Hole number 7, again, a situation where you start at plus 16, which is kingmaker max, and then you can switch to a luminary, or you just start with luminary and find that spot at plus 16. Max top spin, 1 left spin. We're going to adjust max plus 10%. I'm sorry, we're going to adjust max plus 0% with P3. And then max overpower and check the curl. I know it's a lot of luminaries in these guides, but I tried to show you the hardest winds. And these headwinds on these long holes make it really difficult. So if you have luminaries, this is the time to use them. On the approach here, the spins are going to vary. And the ball will run down towards the hole. So be careful with the top spin, or you could get a really long glitched roll here. We want to make sure that second bounce is far enough away from the rough. And then I adjusted max plus 0%, but that's a mistake. It should have been max plus 5%. So just make that adjustment. If you have a shot like this, you want to go max plus 5%. And the reason you can tell it should have been 5% is that was a bad grate, and it's going to hit the stick, which means I should have been adjusting more. Hole 8, we're going to use max backspin and 0.6 left spin. And this was a similar shot in the qualifying round, and you can probably play this approach in just about any wind and just kind of change the landing spot to adjust to where that wind is going to push you. So we're adjusting lower than the hole because the tailwind is going to push us further. Crosswinds, you'll adjust left or right of the hole. We're going to adjust max plus 20%. And if you have a wind like this, you don't need this curl. I added some right curl because I thought it would help counteract the push, but it was unnecessary. And if I hadn't added that right curl, it would have been really close. All right, hole number 9. We're back to another long hole. This one you could play with a kingmaker, but I'd still recommend the luminary, and it's more for the second and the third shot. So we're still starting at kingmaker distance here so that we can adjust max top spin, 1 right spin, max plus 10, max OP, check the curl. There's a lot of grace on this shot because it's a big fairway, and we really just need to get it as far as we can down the fairway. So you can probably modify that setup any number of ways because the second shot is really the most important one. Now this is why we use a luminary, because now with this second shot, we don't have to use any overpower. If you're using a kingmaker, you're still going to need overpower on this second shot. So even in the direct headwind here, we have enough topspin with the cataclysm and 2 right spin to try to tuck us down into that corner as close to the green as we can get. So max plus 10 with the cataclysm, and check a little bit of curl here, but no overpower. If you're using a luminary, you shouldn't have to. And then from here, you'll be able to finish it off with EB School and Bringer School Method plus 10% elevation. All right, and you'll get to watch this one drop as I wrap this up here, but good luck. Don't forget, use these guides, modify these depending on if you have a similar wind at all. You can probably still put up a really good number with free-to-play balls without the exact guides. Check the qualifying rounds to see if they were close, and click the links on those previous videos from the President's Cup. You might have close wins there. Best of luck. I hope you guys put up some good cards this weekend and put up some big points for your clans. And I'll see you guys back next week.